turn to my good friend and the ranking member of this committee, Mr. McCaul, for his opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding today's hearing, and I want to welcome you, Secretary Kerry, back to the Hill. It's good to see you. I believe the climate is changing, and we must take steps to address it. However, the answer is not the Paris Agreement in its current form. The People's Republic of China is the world's leading greenhouse gas emitter and is responsible for almost 30% of global emissions. Yet the Paris Agreement does the bare minimum to hold the PRC accountable while allowing them to continue increasing their emissions until 2030. At the same time, it disproportionately penalizes American workers and American industries, even though the PRC emits over twice as much carbon dioxide as the United States. And Mr. Secretary, I understand you've got a big challenge ahead of you, and we had a good visit on this issue. But I just don't see how we can truly make an impact if China isn't held to the same standards as the United States. Last year alone, the Chinese Communist Party brought more than 3 times as many new coal-powered plants online in the PRC as the rest of the world combined. And they aren't just polluting at home. Beijing is exporting coal-fired power plants throughout the developing world through their Belt and Road Initiative. In fact, the CCP is the biggest financer of coal plants in the world. It's clear the Chinese Communist Party doesn't care about the environment. They have proven time and again they cannot be trusted and are not a reliable partner in addressing climate change. That's why I've worked with Representatives Graves and McMorris-Rogers to introduce the Paris Transparency and Accountability Act. Our bill acknowledges that it's vital we renegotiate the Paris Agreement to create a level playing field, and it calls for this new agreement to be submitted for Senate approval. Any comprehensive agreement that will significantly impact American jobs and the American economy deserves that much. Our bill would also ensure there is sufficient oversight of the committees and commitments the President makes on behalf of the American people under the agreement, and it makes certain those commitments don't jeopardize our national security or our competitiveness. Like you, Secretary Kerry, I'm a father, and I care about the world we are leaving behind for our children and our grandchildren, and we have that in common. Yet after the United States finally achieved energy independence in oil and natural gas, we now appear to be tying our future energy needs to the CCP-dominated supply chains, such as solar panels and electric batteries. If we truly want to reduce emissions, we must keep all these options on the table. That also means investing in renewable energy, but it also means expanding our nuclear energy capabilities, including, as you and I talked about, the development of small modular reactors with zero carbon emissions. And it means utilizing fossil fuels with a smaller environmental impact. For example, LNG from my home state of Texas has significantly lower life cycle emissions than coal or Russian piped gas. The United States has been a leader in addressing climate risks through innovation and technology. Now more than ever, we need to take advantage of our strengths, which have enabled us to become energy independent. So, Secretary Kerry, I look forward to hearing your thoughts on what steps can be taken to address climate risks in a responsible way that also protects American interest and jobs. And before I close, I and many of my colleagues are concerned by alleged conversations that you have purportedly had with Iranian Foreign Minister Zarif after you were Secretary of State. Iran is the world's largest state sponsor of terror and one of our biggest adversaries. I hope you will address these allegations today before Congress, and I hope you'll reassure this committee that classified or sensitive information was not shared with Iranian officials when you were either Secretary of State or after you left your post. Again, thank you for being here today, and Mr. Chairman, I yield back.